Hello, I'm Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. They bought on a promise. After years of hard work, Bronwyn and Lee thought they'd finally found their forever home. With three boys who all love sport, the mega field promised next door was a huge draw card. But it's been scrapped, and what's going in now is so bad, they've been told to move.
They don't care. Put it behind their bloody backyard.
We've been absolutely betrayed by this government. They've lied to us multiple times.
They want this rubbish. Put it behind your backyard, not our backyard.
It's our family home. We were buying to invest in our future, and now we don't see any future.
Bronwyn and Lee thought it was a slam dunk. After years of working multiple jobs to provide for their three sports-loving sons, the couple took a shot and netted a single-storey, three-bedroom home in Melbourne's outer ring, backing on to an old quarry.
When we purchased here, we spoke to the local council to understand what was planned for this big piece of land behind us, and that there was a huge sporting facility planned to go there. So for us, we thought that was an amazing opportunity to get into a really nice spot.
Bronwyn's place is next to the site, which has been barely touched since it last operated as a sand mine in the 1990s. In 2018, Victoria's then Premier Daniel Andrews went to an election promising a chain of parks and sporting fields through the area, which included the old quarry. But the promise of parks and sporting fields would be broken. By the time of the next state election, homeowners' dreams were derailed, as the same state government announced that the former quarry site would be developed as a stabling yard for train maintenance.
The kids are actually getting really upset about it now as well. It's pretty disgraceful.
Walking down to the back gate used to give Bronwyn joy and satisfaction. The view looks out onto land that comes under Melbourne's Green Wedge Conservation Zone, or at least it did until recently.
So right there is where it's going.
Just over that fence line?
Yeah, about 60 metres away.
At the front of the house, more bad news. A letter from the rail authority saying that rail yard construction noise was going to be so bad, Bronwyn should relocate her family between October and December.
You know, to pack up your whole family, your whole life, it's not something you can just do at the drop of a hat.
The government telling Bronwyn and some of her neighbours they had 2 weeks to get out.
Their construction workers, their equipment, their planning, they would have known well in advance of 2 weeks' notice that this work was going to start. And their lack of communication with us just shows that they don't really care about the impact on the residents here.
Authorities eventually offered to cover a serviced apartment for the family of 5.
3 boys who love basketball and being outside, playing on the trampoline, and a dog, to put us in an apartment with no outdoor space. We know our children will just end up spending every afternoon sitting on screens.
But the government won't provide security for the properties that they've asked owners to move out of.
Security is a big concern for us. We're worried that we'll come back and find the house has been broken into.
She already works 2 jobs, one in admin and shift work in a women's clothing store, but Bronwyn has taken on a 3rd role, rallying her neighbourhood to fight the rail yard plan along with her fellow local Michelle. On the day we dropped in, word spread that A Current Affair was around, and within the hour, this community mobilised. Locals of all ages and their families marching through Bronwyn's place towards the proposed rail yard.
Stop this SRL. Say no harm.
People's lives are more important than trains.
Before long, Heatherton was holding a Stop the Rail Yard rally, and locals had plenty to say.
Leave our homes alone!
Victor has lived in the house next door to Bronwyn for 37 years.
It's disappointing. It's disgraceful. Absolute disgraceful.
Construction has already begun on the yard, which is to be part of the suburban rail loop, a project under Victoria's Big Build, which has cost the state billions in budget blowouts.
You only have to have a look at what they're doing Victoria-wise. Every project that you see, it's unfinished. There's potholes everywhere. Concentrate on that instead of making all this rubbish here. We don't want it.
Locals argue there's no way they could have planned for this. Prior to the suburban rail loop idea, the nearest train stations were at least 4.5 kilometres away.
This whole community has fought for 30 years for parkland on this site. We didn't fight here just for it to become a harmful 24/7 industrial facility.
Did anyone else here want to see sporting fields built over there? To assist construction, nearby roads have been remarked, prioritising trucks headed for the rail yard site. Locals issued official papers for access. So you need a pass to get access to your own street?
Correct.
What happens if you don't have your pass?
So if we don't have passes, we'll be stopped by the road workers and we'll need to ascertain who we are and where we're going and why we're coming in here.
But the road conditions will revert back to normal for the last weekend in November. The quarry is minutes from the Kingston Heath Golf Course, and authorities have decided that while residents should relocate, construction can stop for the Australian Open golf tournament to take place.
It's a constant battle of not knowing where we're going to be and how we're going to get there and what our future holds.
Bronwyn and Lee haven't shifted out just yet, but they're packing up their belongings in case conditions become unlivable.
It's very clear that they don't actually care about what's happening to us. You know, what would happen if it was their house, their family home that was being threatened, and I think they'd feel very differently about it if it was in their backyard, not in ours.
Yeah, she raises a good point, doesn't she? What's a promise worth? Not much, it seems. Well, Sally is keen to see out her days on her quarter-acre block in the bush. Her son lives on the other side of the country and needs to keep an eye on her. The problem? She doesn't have the broadband for that. And for her, it's a matter of life or death.
I've waited here for hours, you know, every appointment they've made, and they just haven't turned up or rang. And it's very upsetting, you know.
Every day is becoming more of a challenge for Sally. She's in her 70s and on oxygen 24/7.
Well, I have the blockage of the airways, COPD. Being on the oxygen, it's pretty tough even to get around, you know.
The grandmother lives alone in her country abode in regional Queensland, where she wants to be for the rest of her days.
Very quiet, very safe.
There's only one problem though.
The NBN. They won't come and install it.
Glen Devon is about 2.5 hours west of the Sunshine Coast, but Sally feels like it's a world away because she can't get internet out here. There's only one NBN installer in the area, notorious for no-shows.
You know, they forget about us, how do you?
My main aim is to get this installed for Mum so I can get security installed, so it gives me peace of mind.
CCTV would mean Sally's son Greg could keep an eye on her from his home in Western Australia.
I can get also that Wi-Fi diverted to my phone, so then I can check in anytime I want.
I could be, you know, out to it on the floor. I've got a neighbour to ring, but if I wasn't capable of ringing, well, I'd have no hope.
Sally has had to put her health on hold because Hills Technology Solutions won't show up.
I've had to cancel doctor's appointments because of them, you know. Oh.
She's been left to wait.
Oh, they're not going to turn up again.
And wait, day in, day out.
Yeah, where the bloody hell are they?
They have cancelled 5 times in the 2 weeks and it's become very frustrating.
And one morning they changed from the morning to an afternoon appointment and they still didn't turn up. It's incredible.
Sally isn't too tech savvy, so Greg is having to deal with this from across the country.
Yeah, hi Mum, how are you?
Not bad. This NBN's still not on yet.
I don't know what else I can do from my end.
After every long day waiting for no one to arrive, Greg receives this text from Hills Technology Solutions.
You know, they're just not reliable. So I don't know what's the matter with the turkeys.
Greg's even tried switching providers.
To the lady on the phone, she said, I've got a bit of bad news. They're the designated providers for that area.
I had a read of the company reviews as well. Overall, they've got 1.3 stars.
Yes, it's not a very good look.
Someone said they'd rather have a root canal and a colonoscopy on the same day instead of dealing with this mob. Yeah. And your mum doesn't have any other option.
No, that's right.
The technicians are based on the Gold Coast, but it's clear residents who live rurally feel neglected.
You know, as if we don't exist. Yeah, so it is upsetting, very upsetting.
Greg even flew to Queensland with the promise the technicians would turn up.
They said, yeah, no worries. We'll make sure it happens. And it doesn't.
Fed up, Greg called us for help.
He said he ran current affair. Said to get something done about this.
We contacted Hills Technology Solutions for answers. It told us,
we would like to apologise to any customers that have had their appointment cancelled or rescheduled. While this is because of prioritising different jobs across Queensland, we appreciate that it's frustrating and our focus is on continually improving the service that we offer customers.
Lo and behold, 2 days later, the technicians finally rocked up and switched on Sally's NBN.
A major relief, that's for sure. It took you guys to get involved, to get, some action, happening.
Well, the NBN has also apologised. It tells us sometimes it reschedules appointments to prioritise customers experiencing connection issues. We're just glad it's fixed now, but surely Sally should have been a priority. When all you want is a family and the road getting there is hard, it's beyond devastating when you feel that dream slipping from your grasp. It's why so many couples turn to IVF. It's how 1 in 17 babies are conceived these days. It's emotional and expensive, but one clinic is looking to ease that burden by bulk billing.
Hi, baby. Hi.
A family is all Britta's ever wanted.
It's obviously my best job, I think. I think I'm the best at being a mum. Who gave you this biscuit?
And after 9 failed IVF cycles, she's finally got her boys.
We were absolutely, totally desperate. We would have done anything. We did do anything.
But miracles can take time.
It's the most horrifying journey. You can't possibly think that you're ever going to win. And you turn to all your friends for support. And everyone says to you, just relax, it'll happen. But you just feel inside it's never going to happen for you. That you have losses along the way and, sorry.
As difficult as it was for Britta and her husband to wait around for something that may never happen, it was even harder for the couple to give up on everything they ever wanted.
We did get pregnant once, but we had a miscarriage early on, so that was a loss. We kept trying, but unfortunately we're just losing all our money.
What sort of financial impact did all of those rounds of IVF have on you, on your family?
The impact was huge. We had concerns over being able to afford just living. We refinanced our house to pay for IVF. All in all, I'd say our upfront cash outlay was $150,000.
Then a friend told Britta about Adora, a bulk bill fertility clinic.
Our ethos is basically to provide really high quality private fertility care at a sort of very affordable and accessible price point for the patients.
Adora Fertility bulk bills the majority of Medicare-eligible expenses associated with assisted reproductive treatment.
Okay, a fertilised egg we call an embryo.
Dr Paul Atkinson's the National Medical Director at Adora, which operates clinics in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland and WA.
So we don't cut any corners in terms of patient care or success rates or anything that would impact pregnancy rates, but what we try to do here is streamline all the behind-the-scenes processes. And we also try to do things like minimise our overheads so that we're not passing on the costs of, multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns or doctors' rooms with views of the Harbour Bridge. We're not passing those costs on to the patients.
The federal government currently contributes about $5,000 per cycle of IVF. The New South Wales government offers a $2,000 rebate. That means one cycle at Adora costs around $1,700 out of pocket. Other clinics charge from $3,500.
Is there anything that patients are missing out on at this clinic versus elsewhere?
One of the services which we don't offer at Adora is genetic testing of embryos. So genetic testing for chromosomes attracts no government rebate.
I did my first egg collection in London when IVF was only 7 years old. When in the whole of the United Kingdom that year there were 500 cycles done. Today around the world there are 5 million done every year.
Professor Michael Chapman's a fertility specialist with 40 years' experience.
Because of the science, it is very expensive to set up an IVF unit and keep it maintained. But it's millions of dollars. A good clinic has 7-day-a-week service. A good clinic has scientists of the highest calibre. Fertility nurses are not just nurses. They have to have the skills to deal with the counselling of patients as well as interpreting results. We're talking about a wage bill of over $1.5 million a year. Then you start to see why IVF is expensive.
IVF is big business, and human eggs are now a valuable commodity. The industry is raking in over $750 million in revenue each year.
Usually when something sounds too good to be true, it is. Is there a catch?
No, I don't think there's any catch. I think it's, this clinic has now been around for 10 years. I think we're well over 10,000 babies now. When cost of living pressures are higher, they're looking for value for money, I guess.
I was actually really happy to find out we could try again with what we had left. Yay!
Britta's 11th IVF cycle, her second at Adora, was a success.
You went up?
And on Christmas Day 2022, little Ethan was born.
He's a joy. He made us want to have another one.
Just 12 weeks ago, baby brother Lincoln entered the world.
You gonna dance?
This is what it's all about, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
How happy does this make you?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I could hold a little baby.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos.
Yes, let me help you out. Hello,
There you
Munchkin.
go.
Hi. Are you going to play soccer together? I think so. He's going to learn so much from you.
And teach him how to play with the dogs? The doggos?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got my 2 boys and I'm off the roller coaster. I've been able to step off and just breathe again. So, thank God.
And that roller coaster is so emotional. We're so happy for you and your family, Britta. Enjoy the cuddles and the craziness. Well, next, it's the giant online retailer accused of ghosting its customers.
I'm just ringing in relation to TNR Sports, which you're the director of. Britta?
Welcome back. Their pitch is deals too good to be true, and it seems TNR Sports is right about that, with many customers left out of pocket and no sign of the goods they ordered. We went knocking again at the warehouse. This time, no one was home.
This is TNR Sports, bud, isn't it?
They're gone.
I'll call and no reply.
This is what's left of one of Australia's biggest online retailers, now clearly offline.
My boss told me to here for pick up a massage chair.
Right, well, there's no workers here.
Oh, okay. I just noticed my boss.
They've all gone.
Okay.
It's almost unbelievable. The office empty, the warehouse is closed, the website's gone overnight. Yet there's customers strung along over months who don't have their products or their money.
I don't have much money to lose $30,000.
It all happened so quickly, and it was the owner who pulled the trigger, plunging the company into liquidation. They even left the FPOS machine behind.
You haven't got the receiver's letter for this company, have you?
Trust isn't just a word, it's our promise.
A current affair blew the whistle on TNR Sports last month. The family-owned and operated company also ran sports leisure and bike scooter hub. It imported cheap goods at discounted prices. Its slogan, almost too good to be true.
It infuriates me. It infuriates me.
Some of the paint scraped off here and up the other end.
Customers warned the company didn't deliver on its promises and refused refunds. In some cases, the goods were defective. New South Wales Fair Trading had 397 complaints. There's been multiple investigations for breaches of consumer law. Among the biggest concerns, a bunk bed in breach of Australian safety standards and promoted on their website.
Don't manipulate and exploit people.
At the time, the owner's dad helped us in our quest for answers, even fetching his phone to call the CEO, Wei or Tony Zhong. He questioned our behaviour and told us we had it wrong.
You disrespect my legal rights. Okay, that's all right.
All right, well, what about the legal rights of your customers? But tonight we can reveal a shocking truth. The company owes $11 million. This is the liquidator's report on the company. There's nearly 80 pages of customers who are owed money, and that's in a size 6 font. So where's all the money gone? Well, we're back at the owner's $10 million mansion to find out. I'm just ringing in relation to T&R Sports, which you're the director of. Rita? The phone call with the owner lasted 13 seconds. Shan Han, or Rita Han, is the sole director. Her husband, Tony, is the CEO. In an email, Tony Zhong said, "We are simply trying to survive this dark chapter, and your respect for our privacy would allow us the space we so desperately need to cope." According to the liquidators, $7 million is owed to secured creditors, leaving around $4.5 million owed to customers. There's just over $18,000 left in the bank.
So they liquidation, is it?
Yeah, they've gone into liquidation.
Well, okay.
Okay, so they need some space to cope. I reckon we've heard it all now, and we've got an idea for you, Tony and Rita. Sell the mansion and pay people back. The liquidators report did find some of the assets, so hopefully a few customers will get their money. We'll stay on it. Well, coming up, how banks are being caught ripping off their customers. Now they have to pay them back.
I was in shock. I had to ask them a couple of times if they really meant $10,500.
Tomorrow night, you owed a small fortune.
Junk insurance payback.
Time people got what was rightfully theirs.
Families owed billions for taking out add-on cover they didn't need.
It's your money. Why lose it?
How to get your share before time runs out.
Refunds are life-changing for people.
We'll have that story tomorrow, and that's our program. Up next, a beautiful tribute to The Voice, a special documentary, John Farnham celebrating 60 years. I'm Langdon. Thanks for your company. Have a great night.